Jamie last day of the wine symposium in Lake Como on loan to Celebrity Wine Review. We've had our lunch, but we haven't had any port yet, until, by chance, I met this guy, Dirk Niepoort, who makes some pretty astounding port, and he's going to tell us about his 05 vintage, which is your favourite, I think you say?
Yeah, well, I think this is the best wine I've ever done. As you see, it's got some deposit now. It's I should have decanted it, it didn't. But anyway, it's not bad. Yeah, we try to make vintage port in a classic way, wines that last forever, but our philosophy is making wines which have a lot of density, have a lot of concentration, but what is great about 2005 is it's so elegant at the same time. And this is a rare combination in vintage port. In fact, it's 2005, we're the only ones that declared it, which is a little bit strange.
You're the only estate in the Douro that declared vintage?
Yeah,
Really?
well, of the classic houses, yeah.
Okay, how was that received by your neighbours, the fact that you were the only guys who felt this was up to vintage quality? That's
They ignored it, basically.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I want to think this is maybe like a Noval 31, you know?
Okay.
They were the only ones who declared it, and it's the most famous vintage ever. So maybe it will be a Noval 31 someday.
Let's have a look. Very rich nose. And you say there's no Touriga in this at all? No Touriga, nothing like that? Which is a big mainstay of port. What made you decide not to include Touriga?
The first thing is Touriga is a new fashion. It's a fantastic variety, but it's a little bit like Cabernet. It's a very strong, lots of character, and so if you have too much of it, it overshadows the rest. And so I think people are planting too much Touriga as well. I have nothing personally against it, but I have against the people planting too much of it.
So what is the main grape in your port?
This is the youngest vineyard is over 80 years. So
really?
This is the traditional mixed plantings. So we have 30, 40 different varieties in it.
Fantastic. It's very concentrated. You've obviously set out to make a big, not overly big, but a big wine.
Exactly. I don't want this plummy character. I don't like over-ripeness. And I think in 2005 we just got it right. There's everything in it without too much. And it still has a balance which I find very unusual.
It's very good.
And on top of that, you don't hardly feel the spirit on it.
But look at the legs.
Oh yeah, lots of legs. Yeah.
So when did you first found this estate? When did it all start?
No, well, I'm the 5th generation of a Dutch family. I have a Dutch passport, even though I must say that I feel Portuguese. And well, anyway, I was born in Portugal, and we used to be négociants, meaning we didn't own any vineyards. We bought the ports as ports shortly after the harvest, and then we aged them in Gaia, bottled them, and sold them. In the meantime, a lot has changed. We have 62 hectares of vineyard. We do everything ourselves. Yeah, and we started making wine in the Douro, which is a new thing. Somehow, I was probably one of the first to do it. I mean, the most famous Portuguese wine is Barca Velha. Has been made since the 50s, and Quinta do Porto in the 80s, and then I came in the 90s and started making red wine and then white wine in 95, and it's going very well. Yeah. I think the Douro has a great potential.
I mean, the Douro is obviously an area of great tradition and maybe conservatism until quite recently. I mean, how have you been received as a non-Portuguese family?
In Portugal, Portuguese are fantastic.
Yeah? Good welcome.
Yeah. Foreigners are totally welcomed, and there's no problem whatsoever. And we've been around for a long time, so we are considered, I'm considered to be more Portuense than a lot of Portuguese. And I speak really bad accent Portuguese.
Well, I don't speak any Portuguese, so you're one on me anyway.
No, but no, that's no problem whatsoever.
Fantastic.
When I started making the wines, it was funny. I mean, people thought I was crazy, the wines were too dark, they were too this, too that, and they didn't see any sense in it and thought it was a stupid thing. And then came the second thing, which is when the wine started being successful.
Yeah.
There are a few port houses, or mainly one, that considers that the wine side is harming the port side, which I don't agree at all. I think actually it's a fantastic thing for the area to have one strong thing, which is the port, and potentially another strong thing, which is the white and the red wine. And the area is perfect for making both.
So you think the Douro can make good still table wines as well?
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing a lot of varietal Touriga, aren't we, for example, in the last couple of years. And I think some of it's very good, and then Alentejo as well further south. Well, hey, listen, thanks for sharing this with us. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dirk.